Hello, Professor. This is my upload for homework number 4. I'm going to go over each of the parts of section 11, then I'm going to slowly walk through chapters 19, questions 7, 8, and 9, I believe. Thank you. And I'm going to just switch to the screen to start. Alrighty. So for question 11.8, we're creating a random limerick generator. So we're creating our header for this, and then we're going to create a button to generate the limerick. So from this, we're given a line of sentences that were present in the question. I copied those sentences as we're going, and then we used a function to get a random word from the word array. So each of these is an array with a word in each part, and we're going to grab a random word from it. In the previous problems in 11.6 and 11.7, we've also worked on stuff similar to this. So I went through each of these questions to get an idea from previous ones. We are also going to use a function to capitalize the first letter of the string at the first character to an uppercase letter, if it is not currently. We're going to generate limericks. So for variable A, we're going to get a random word. It's going to be a part of line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. What's going to print out is going to be the results of each of these. We're going to do B, C, D, C, and we're going to get our output printed onto the screen as we generate each of these. These are going to be the words, and we're going to generate limericks. A funny penguin jumped stars, penguin jumped, it was quite a sight. A wonderful mouse, a wonderful left park, mouse laughed, it was quite a sight. A funny mouse, a funny flew rain, mouse flew in the sunny park. Moving on to question 11.9, we're going to use sentences to create Pig Latin. So Pig Latin would be outputting a mix of words starting with the end of the sentence and putting it towards the beginning. So we're going to create our function for the Pig Latin. To start the function, we're going to have the user enter text into a box in an English sentence, and then we're going to have that sentence translated to Pig Latin. So this is the code that I have for translating it to Pig Latin. And then we're going to have a function for the length of the word, so we can change each of the parts of the word to become part of Pig Latin. So we're going to type sentences from English. So for the translation to Pig Latin for each of the individual words, it's transforming from that sentence, "Thank you for your help, friend." It's going to print out like this. Moving on to 11.11, we're going to have token reversal. So we're going to enter a line of text, and we're going to have the user input the text, and then we're going to have a button to reverse the tokens. So this would be the function for reversing the tokens in the event, and the inputted text in the document, it's going to display the text input, and then it's going to reverse a token. The user's text is going to be reversed, and the output is going to be in the token form. So let's try a sentence. Hello world, how are you? You are how world hello. Okay. Moving on to 11.14, we're going to have a document count the letters of the text through an array. So let's try that out. So we're creating an array for multiple things. We're creating an array for our letters, A to Z. We're creating an array for our occurrences and how many times each of the characters appear inside of our sentence. So for that, we have a function for counting the letters. Whatever letter we're counting on, we're creating an array of 26 letters for our alphabet. And then for the length of the letters counted, we're counting where these letters are used and how many times these letters are counted. So our output is going to be whatever the occurrence is, and we're going to print the number of occurrences each of these letters occurs onto the document line. And for our body, we're creating label for entering the text. We're creating a text area for a user to input the text. We're creating a button to count the occurrences. We're creating a label for the occurrence table, and then we're creating a area for where our letters will appear and for where our occurrences will appear. And then we can just scroll that down. All right, moving on to 1122. So we're creating our form for the dates. We're going to use our date input to have the user select the date, and that date input is going to, we're having the user select a date, and then we're going to put that date into alternate formats. Let's try it out. 6/17/2024, and then we're going to get the local, UTC, ISO, the date, the time, the local date, and then the local time. All right, moving on. Our next assignment would be section 19.7, where we're going to be writing code in PHP. We're going to do a for each of the states, and then it's going to display each of the states. So we're going to start up our XAMPP. We're going to start that. On AXMPP. We're going to go into chapter 19's folder, and then we're going to open up 9.7. So this is going to be the output of our results from the PHP for the states. It's going to be Texas, Kansas, Massachusetts, Alabama, and Mississippi. So for our PHP code, we're going to have the states output onto the screen. So we're going to use a for each state as states, preg match, XAS, states array states. So we're storing the states into the array. And then we're going to continue doing that, and our output result will be the array that's outputted to the states, and then we'll use echo to display it onto the screen. Our header will just be our header, and then these will be the results. Moving on to section 19.8, we will do a PHP to check for validity for an email address. We're going to use an if statement for this. If server request method equals post, if is set post submit, and then we're just going to run through from there. I will post the email. If we'll check the validity of the email. If it is valid, it will be valid. If it's not, it won't be. So we're going to try that out with my email. My email address is a valid email address, but my name is not my username is not the valid email address for this. Moving on to 19.9, here's our URL submission form. We're going to have a PHP for the local host, the root, the password, and the database. Database is going to be URLs. So for section 919, we're setting up the form for the HTML document. We are creating our PHP inside the body. We're connecting to the local host. We're having a username and password to access this host, and we're accessing the database for URL. We're connecting via the host name, username, and password, and to the database. If it is not connected, it will display that connection has failed. If it is connected, it will show the URL and it will connect us to the database. We can create a record of information from the URL table, and we can select from that URL table inside the database. We're going to create a table inside of the web page for the URL and the description, and it's going to display what information we got onto our table. and then we can close our connection. It'll be submission test PHP, and then it'll post methods, label for the URLs, the text that the user will input, the description, text, and then the submit button to start this. All right, and that's all for this homework. Thank you, Professor.